Hello all, my name is Krishnaik and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, today in this particular video we are going to discuss about Xgboost Regressor. We'll try to understand how the decision tree is actually created in Xgboost, and apart from that we'll also try to see the maths formula that are actually involved in Xgboost. Now this will be an Xgboost Regressor in-depth intuition. In my previous video I had already covered with respects to Xgboost classifier. If you have not seen that guys, please go ahead and see that. Again, the link of that particular video will be given in the description. Okay, now to begin with, what I'm going to do is that, again, if you don't know about Xgboost, it is an ensemble technique. It uses boosting technique, and there are many other algorithms in boosting technique like ADA boost, gradient boosting, extreme gradient boosting. I've covered all these three, and again, there are some more boosting techniques which I'm going to cover in the upcoming sessions. So to begin with, I'm going to actually take this simple problem statement. This paper I have actually done all the computation, and suppose if I miss out any calculation, I'll just verify it from here. Okay, so in this particular problem statement, I have three features like experience, gap, and salary. So this basically says that a person, if he's having an experience of 2 years, and suppose if he has gap is basically a categorical feature. If he has a gap, the salary will be somewhere around 40k. Okay, maybe in dollars. Then 2.5, yes, 41k. If he does not have gap, usually based on experience, the salary will become more. Okay, so this is the complete data set I have. Okay, if you remember, if you have gone through my Xgboost classifier, there I have actually shown you how to construct a decision tree. Similarly, I'll try to show you how you can construct a decision tree in Xgboost Regressor. So let's begin. Now over here, always remember, as in Xgboost, what we do is that we create sequential decision trees. So first of all, we'll try to create a base model. This base model will actually give you the output. What kind of output it will give? So based on this average salary, suppose by default, the first base model will take the average of all the salary, 40k, 41k, 52k, 60k and 62k. If I calculate the average of this, the average salary will be somewhere around 51k. Okay. Then based on this 51k, I will try to find out the residual. Okay, this will be my residual 1 because I'm finding out for the first residual. And whenever I talk about boosting techniques, guys, the decision tree gets trained based on this particular residual values. So I'll try to subtract 40k minus 51k. So this will be nothing but minus 9k. Then if it should not be 9 minus 9, but instead it should be minus 11k, right? If I subtract 41 with 51, it should be minus 10, right? If I subtract 52 with 51, it should be 1. If I subtract 60 with 51, it should be 9. And if I subtract 62 with 51, then at that particular point of time, it should be actually 51, 11, 11, 11, 62, right? It should be 11. Okay. Now, these are all my values with respect to residual ones. Let me consider, guys, one thing. Let me just make a small change over here. Instead of writing 41k, I will try to write 42k. Okay. Just a small change. This is just to make my calculation easier. But again, it will not matter if you also write 41k. Now, if I try to find out the difference, this will be somewhere around 9k. Just to make my calculation easier, I have just written it as 40k. Now, what we will do, the Xgboost Regressor, we have created the base model. The base model output is 51k. Based on that, we have got the residuals. Residual basically means error, right? Now, in the first decision tree that is basically getting created, we are going to take this independent feature experience, gap and salary. Sorry, not salary, experience, gap and residual. So first of all, we will try to take the root node. We'll try to see in which root node we will try to divide. Okay. So suppose if I take experience. Now in experience, okay, I know all my output values. What are my output values? It is minus 11k. Then it is minus 9. Then it is 1. Then 9 and 11. Right? I have this. And remember, experience is a continuous feature, right? It is not a category feature, it is a continuous feature. 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 4.5. So in a continuous feature, how a decision tree is basically constructed? Suppose every time, remember, in Xgboost, we create a binary trees only. So here I will try to create a binary tree. The first tree over here, I'll say that the condition will be less than or equal to the first record, that is 2. Okay. Then in my next record, I will say this will be greater than 2. Okay, so I have actually taken this. It will be less than or equal to 2. It will be greater than 2. That basically means the first record will go over here. Remaining all the records will go in this side. Right. Now, if I try to get all the values over here, right? What will be the values? If I have less than or equal to 2, that is only this one residual. So here I will be getting minus 11 and remaining, or I will be getting minus 9, 1, 9, 11. So all these values will be coming over here, which is greater than 2. Pretty much simple, pretty much easy. Okay, this is one way. You can also take like this. First of all, you can take first 2 records, you can calculate the average. Then less than or equal to average, all the records you put it on the left hand side, otherwise you put it on the right hand side. But here what I have done is that I have taken the first record, I have written greater than, less than or equal to 2, made it as one branch, the other branch will be this. Now this is the first step. Now in the second step, we basically calculate something called as similarity weight. Now if you remember in Xgboost classifier, the similarity weight was defined as summation of residual square in Xgboost classifier. Again I am telling you guys, classifier. Summation of residual square, summation of probability minus 1 minus probability, and this probability used to be 0.5. Now in case of Xgboost regressor, this formula will change a little bit. Okay, here we will basically say that number of residuals plus a parameter, hyperparameter, which is called as lambda. Okay, this lambda value will definitely, if we increase the lambda value, this will decrease the similarity weight, in short. Okay, so this can be treated as a hyperparameter. So let me go ahead and let me start computing the similarity weight. In Xgboost regressor also we calculate the similarity weight. Now suppose for this we will try to calculate the similarity weight, because I need to basically understand, if I am taking experience as my root node, how do I have to split? Right now I have just taken the first record in the left hand side and the remaining greater than 2 in the right hand side, right? Whether this record is the best record to split, right? For that we will calculate the similarity weight. After that we will calculate the information gain, or we will say as gain. Okay, so here we will try to calculate the similarity weight. Okay, so here some residual square, I have only one residual, so this will become 121. Minus 11 is nothing, minus 11 square is nothing but 121. Number of residual is again 1, plus in this particular case let me consider that I am going to take lambda as 1. So if I try to write 121 divided by 2, this will be nothing but 6 and then 5 0.5. So my similarity weight in this case is 65.5. So I have calculated it, I will write it over here. So my similarity weight is 65.5. Remember, my lambda is equal to 1. Now similarly, I will try to calculate the similarity weight for this. How will I calculate? I will take all the residual, summation of this, minus 9 plus 1 plus 9 plus 11 whole square divided by, how many numbers are there? It is basically 4. 4 plus 1, right? Now if I try to compute this, right, this 9 and this 9 will get cancelled. 12 is nothing but 144 divided by 5, right? So if I try to do this, how many records I will be getting? 5 1s are 5 2s are 10, then 5 8s are 40, 28.5. So I will get this similarity weight as 28.5. If there is little bit mistake, don't worry. Okay, just calculate the similarity weight will be 28.5. If it is coming some other value, you can let me know in the description. So I'm just going to write 28.5. So here I'm going to write 28.5. Now the third thing that I'm going to do is basically I also have to compute the similarity weight of the root, right? This root. So here I will be taking again minus 11, minus 9, 9, 11. This will get cancelled. Only 1 will be remaining. So this will be 1 square divided by, how many numbers I have? 5. 5 plus 1. So this is nothing but 1 by 6. 1 by 6 is nothing but, if I say that it is somewhere around 0.16. Okay, so I'm going to take this 0.16. So I will write over here my similarity weight is nothing but 0.16. Now if I really want to calculate the information gain, or gain I'll say, then we have to take this left similarity weight, add it with right similarity weight, subtract with the root similarity weight. Okay, so here if I try to calculate, this is 20, suppose 5 5 1 13 14 14 and 94 minus 0.16. Okay, and here if I try to subtract 94 minus 0.16, you know, so this will be somewhere around 4 8 3 93.84. 93.84. So the total gain that I am getting from this split is basically 93.84. So here I'm just going to note down this one and I'll say that the total gain that I'm going to get is 93.84. Okay, so this is my gain. Now similarly what I'll do, I've done this. Now I'll go with the next split. In next split I'll say that, okay, instead of making, see guys, with one split we got the gain 98.4. So let me just write it down somewhere here. Okay, so for the first record split I got somewhere around 98.34. okay, so I hope I'm writing it right. Okay, now in my second split what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just rub this and now I'll go to my second record. Now second record is nothing but 2.5. So here I'll say that less than or equal to 2.5 and greater than 2.5. Now when I do this, less than or equal to 2.5, how many records are there? 1, 2. So here I am going to write minus 11, minus 9. Okay. Here again there will be 3 records, 1, 9, 11. Okay, 1, 9, 11. Now when we try to calculate the similarity weight again over here, it will be minus 11 minus 9 whole square divided by 2, which is nothing but 400, sorry, 2 plus 1, right, because alpha value is also there. So 400 divided by 3, this will be somewhere around 3 1s are 3 3s are 3 3s are 0.33. So it will be nothing but 133.33. So this similarity weight over here will be 133.33. Okay, then for this similarity weight again I will try to add up all these things. 1 plus 9 is 10, 10 plus 11 is 21, 21 whole square will be 441. 441 divided by 3 plus 1, which is nothing but 4. Okay, so if I write 441 divided by 4, it will be nothing but 110.25. So 110.25. So I am going to take this similarity weight as 110.25. Okay, now I'll try to, I know my root similarity. Now if I really want to find out the gain, it will be 133.33 plus 110.25 minus 0.16. Okay, so once I do this, probably how much it will come. So let me add it for you. 133.33, 110.25. Okay, so this will be 85.34, 143.58. And if I try to subtract with 16, this will be nothing but 143.42. So here the total gain that I will be getting is 143.42. And obviously this gain is better than this gain. So I'll definitely not do the split from here. I'll do the split from here. And similarly, I'll try to compare with all the splits. And suppose I found out that I have to do the split from this record, I will take this and I will try to create it. Now, once I decide it, okay, this is the split that I have to use. After this, what I'll do is that I will go with the next category feature. Now, suppose over here, I go with gap as yes and no. In gap, if it is yes, suppose this is yes, right? And this is no. In yes, because both these values are in yes, so this becomes the root node. So I'll not go with this splitting, right? Then next with this splitting, I'll go with gap. Again, I'll write yes or no. So how many in this records which is greater than 2.5? There are 2 no's over here, right? 2 no's, and these are nothing but 1 and 9. So I'll write it here as 1 and 9. Here I will write it as remaining one is 11. Then again I'll try to calculate the similarity score. I'll try to calculate the gain. Okay. Now suppose if I go with this split right now, okay, and then I'll try to compare, like whichever will be having the highest gain, I'll be taking that. Now suppose this is the overall tree structure that is being created for the first tree. How will I calculate the output? Now suppose in this particular path, if it is going, the output over here will be the average of this value. So minus 11 minus 9 is nothing but 20. 20 divided by 2 will be nothing but 10. So this output of this node will be actually 20. So here I'm going to write it as output as 20. Okay. In this particular output, since this is a single node, it will be 11. In this, it will be the 5. Because this average is nothing but 5. Right. When I have done this, now suppose I take this record and I try to calculate what will be the output now. Right. I know that first, after this base model, then we'll concatenate. Basically, we'll then pass through this tree only after the base model. So as soon as I pass this record, suppose I am passing this first record, first of all, it will go to the base model. The base model will be giving me the value as 51 because this is 51k. Then suppose I consider my learning rate parameter, that is alpha is 0.5. Okay, now this 0.5 multiplied by the output of this tree. Now suppose this is 2. 2 basically means will come here, right? This path will be taken here, and once we find out the output is 20, so here I will write it as 20. Right? This is with respect to one decision tree. Like this I can create any number of decision trees. Like I can create with the help of gap as my root node, with the help of experience on some other records. Right? I can create multiple decision tree. So this will be my alpha T1. Then again I can have alpha, this can be alpha 1 T1, this can be alpha 2 T2, alpha 3 T3. Like this I can have any number of trees. Now in this particular case, since I have constructed only one decision tree, I'm just going to use this. So what will be the value? 51 plus 0.5 into 2 is nothing but 10. Sorry, the output, this output will be, I'm extremely sorry guys, this output will be minus 20 by 2, minus 10. Okay, I made one mistake. The average output for this will be minus 10. Okay, minus 10. So here I will write it as 0.5 multiplied by minus 10. Right? When I subtract it, it will be nothing but minus 0.5. Sorry, minus 5. Okay, this will be minus 5. So here my total value will be 46. That basically means once I pass this particular output, my real output now will be 46. Then again if I try to pass with respect to 42k, 42k will again pass in this path. Again this will also become 46. Right? Plus 0.5 minus multiplied by minus 10. Similarly, we have to pass all these particular records, calculate our value. Suppose this value is somewhere around, for this value let me compute. Okay, what will be this value? Okay, see 3 is basically passing through this node, right? Then it is no is basically getting passed over here. The output is 5. So I will write 51k plus 0.5, which is my learning rate, multiplied by 5. Okay, and here I can write 51 plus 0.25. Right? 5 5s are 2. Sorry, it should not be 0.25, it should be 2.5. 2.5. So here I will be having 53.5. So this will be my output over here. Right? And similarly, I will be trying to write all these values. I'm just going to rub this, guys. I'm just going to rub this. Okay. Similarly, I'm going to find out like this. So it will be, here will be 62 and here probably will be 63. Then again, I'll try to calculate my residual 2. Some value will be again coming. Now in my next iteration, I'll create one more tree where I'll be taking this 2 input features and this will be my dependent feature, and again I'll be trying to create a decision tree. This will be my second decision tree. My first decision tree is basically getting created here. I have this particular output like this over here, and after that this will be my second decision tree. After this I will try to add it. Again my formula will be like what? My base model output, right, plus alpha 1 T1 plus alpha 2 T2 like this, plus alpha n Tn, and like this will be my complete Xgboost output that it will be coming up, you know. And that is the how we have to say. There is also one more parameter which is called as gamma. Gamma basically says that, suppose if I say gamma is 140, or let me just write it as, okay, gamma is somewhere around 150.5, and suppose after this split the information gain I got it as 140. If I try to subtract 150 with 140, if I try to subtract this 140 with 150.5, if it is negative value, then we can post prune this. We can prune, basically we can cut that particular tree. If it is a positive value, it will be, no, we should not prune it. And again, this is a kind of hyperparameter that we can set for doing the post pruning technique only when it is trying to get overfitted. But most of the scenarios, some value of alpha or gamma will be actually set, the default value. You can again see in the sklearn. Over there also, in that particular library, some default value will be getting set. So I hope you understood how Xgboost Regressor work. Please do subscribe the channel if you have not already subscribed. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day ahead. Thank you and all. Bye-bye.